what's funny about hiking backpacks? We spend more time choosing their color than figuring out if it actually fits our body properly. Then we wonder why our shoulders feel like they're being attacked by tiny little ninjas after a 5-mile hike. Today we're going to fix this backwards approach to backpack shopping. I'll show you why that ultra expensive backpack with 15 pockets might be worse than a simple design that actually fits your torso. And yes, I'll explain why that salesperson who spent 30 seconds measuring you probably gave you the completely wrong advice. Your back and shoulders are about to send me a thank you card. Hello and welcome back, adventurers. Today we will discover that a proper hiking backpack isn't just fancy outdoor fashion. It's the difference between enjoying the view and praying for another 10 miles of downhill relief. As always, I am not sponsored by any of the brands mentioned in the making of this video. The content used in this is intended for educational and informational purposes only. All rights to the images, music, clips, and other materials used belong to their respective owners. I do not claim any ownership over any third-party content used. If you found we really brought you the value today, please consider supporting us with the links in the description below, and also subscribe for the very latest in all things hiking and adventuring as we show you where the wild things are. First, let's start with the pocket myth, why more isn't always better. Picture this, you're staring at a backpack with more pockets than a kangaroo has pouches. It looks organized until you actually try to use it on the trail. You're twisting like a contortionist to grab your water bottle or digging through 6 compartments to find your headlamp while your hiking buddy waits unimpressed. Extra pockets doesn't mean better organization. Marketing teams push compartments because they seem practical, but in reality they can slow you down and throw you off balance. I once spent 10 minutes on a hike frantically searching for my rain jacket only to find it was buried under my quick access side pocket that I couldn't actually even reach without taking my pack off. By the time I got it, I was already soaked. And here's the kicker. Studies from outdoor ergonomics labs show that too many compartments lead to uneven weight distribution. Your body often then compensates for the awkward load, burning extra energy and wearing you out faster. Imagine carrying a 20-pound pack that feels like 30 because the weight shifts unpredictably with every step. That's what happens when your gear is scattered across a dozen pockets instead of centralized. The solution, just keep it simple. Opt for 2 or 3 well-placed pockets, one for water bottle access in the front of your shoulder strap, not the side, or one for snacks, or a map, or maybe a small top lid for essentials like sunscreen. Everything else belongs in the main compartment, secured with compression straps if needed. Pro tip, use lightweight stuff sacks inside of the main compartment for organization. A waterproof sack in your sleeping bag, a mesh one for cooking gear. This keeps things tidy without forcing your body to adapt to a lopsided load. The bonus is it's easier to transfer gear between packs if everything already is bundled logically. That 20-pocket tactical backpack, it's only tactical if your goal is to hit your shoulders by mile 3. Fewer pockets mean better balance, easier access, and less strain. Just as excess pockets mess with your balance, so can misused hip belts shift your load. Speaking of which, let's dive into the hip belt conspiracy, because if you're not using yours correctly, you're basically wearing a very expensive torture device. Here's a fun experiment. Put your backpack and lift it by the shoulder straps. Does it feel heavy? That's exactly what your hips should prevent. Most hikers treat hip belts like optional accessories, something to fiddle with after everything else is adjusted, or worse, they wear them completely wrong, letting them sag around their waist like a loose belt. A loose hip belt doesn't transfer weight from your shoulders to your hips, which is the entire reason for it existing. Your body isn't designed to carry heavy loads on your shoulders alone. Science backs this up. Your hips can handle about 80% of a pack's weight without any complaint. Your shoulders, they tap out after 20% and start sending distress signals to your brain. That ache you feel after a few miles, that's your shoulders begging you to use your hip belt properly. Think of it like a car seatbelt. When it's adjusted just right, it holds everything securely in place. I once hiked with a friend who ignored their hip belt entirely. By mile 5, they were hunched over, consistently shifting their pack to relieve their aching. It wasn't just uncomfortable though, it slowed them down. It made the hike miserable. And that's not how you want your hikes to be. Here's how to avoid that. Adjust your hip belt first. Before you even touch the shoulder straps, cinch it snug around your iliac crest. Then tighten the shoulder straps just enough to keep the pack stable against your back. Done correctly, you'll barely feel the weight on your shoulders at all. The pack should feel like it's riding with you, not pulling you backward. A poorly adjusted hip belt forces your upper body to compensate, leading to a hunched over look that you see on exhausted hikers all the time. Over time, this strains your back, your neck, and your shoulders. A well-fitted hip belt keeps you upright, reducing fatigue, and letting you hike longer. Most salespeople skip proper hip belt fitting because it takes time. Demand a proper fit. Load the pack with weight in the store itself. Adjust the hip belt first and walk around. If the weight still feels like it's dragging on your shoulders, the pack doesn't fit, no matter what the tag says. One last tip. If the belt slides down, the pack might be too big, or the torso length is wrong. The right pack should lock in place on your hips, not shift with every step. Now, let's talk a little bit about capacity-wise, why your backpack is probably too big. Raise your hand if you've ever bought a 65-liter pack, just in case. Then filled it with gear that you never even touched. Be honest, that spare pair of socks, backup flashlight, and extra thin rain jacket you swore you need, dead weight. Backpack manufacturers love selling oversized packs because more space sounds like more prepared. In reality, it's a trap. The extra capacity encourages overpacking, making every mile harder. The average hiker carries at least 5 pounds of unnecessary gear. And picture this, a weekend hike where you packed a backup stove fuel canister and emergency bivvy you never used. By the second day, your shoulders ache and every step feels heavier. Studies show that hikers consistently overestimate gear needs, especially on shorter trips. Here's the rule. Your gear minus food and water should fill about 60% of your pack's capacity. For weekend trips, 35 liters is usually enough unless you're hauling winter gear or camera equipment. Ultralight backpackers often manage 5-day hikes with 40-liter packs by focusing on essentials. That extra 10 pounds, it's not helping, it's slowing you down. Think about that emergency jacket you carried for 12 hikes but never used. It's not an emergency item, it's a security blanket. Real emergencies require navigation tools or a first aid kit, not duplicates of clothing. Every ounce adds up and your loaded pack shouldn't exceed 20 to 25% of your body weight. Go over that and you risk joint strain and fatigue. Smaller packs force smarter decisions. Limited space makes you reconsider every single item. Suddenly that bulky camp chair or extra cooking pot doesn't seem worth it. Compression sacks and multi-use gear like sleeping bag liner that doubles as a lap blanket become your very best friends. The result is often a lighter, more manageable load that doesn't feel like a storage unit strapped to your back. Here's the kicker, an under-filled pack shifts weight unpredictably, throwing off your balance. Ever feel like your backpack is fighting you on descents? That's what happens when your gear sloshes around. A properly sized pack keeps everything snug and stable. No wasted space, no shifting loads. Even professional guides know this. Many carry sub 50-liter packs for weekend-long trips, prioritizing compact shelters and minimal cooking kits. The lesson is better gear choices matter more than extra space. On your next trip, pack what you think you need and cut 20%. You won't miss a single thing. Now, a little bit about frames. So some backpacks come with frames, others don't. The internal frame versus the external frame, or none at all. Quick quiz. What is the difference between internal and external frame packs? If you said one of them is in and one of them is out, you're technically correct, but that doesn't explain why you choose one over the other when your back's on the line. This decision isn't about style. It directly impacts how you move and carry weight on the trail. Think of an external frame pack, like a rigid old school toolbox. The aluminum skeleton excels at carrying bulky, awkward loads. Hunters use them for hauling game, and wilderness firefighters rely on them for heavy equipment. But try navigating a rocky scramble or weaving through tight trees, and you'll feel the downside immediately. The rigid frame can throw off your balance, turning your pack into a pendulum that fights every single move. And as one study puts it, external frames excel at load bearing, but struggle when balanced on technical terrain. Internal frame packs, on the other hand, are like modern sports gear. These are designed to move with you. By integrating with the support system inside the bag with fiberglass stays, plastic sheets, and clever stitching, these packs hug your body and keep the weight close to your center of gravity. This makes them ideal for uneven ground like steep alpine climb or off-trail route finding. One researcher notes that internal frames were designed specifically for high mountain and off-trail adventures, where agility matters. For ultralight enthusiasts, frameless packs are a minimalist dream, made with material like Dyneema and rely on smart packing and your body's natural structure to maintain shape. They're perfect for short trips with loads under 20 pounds, but push past that limit and they quickly become uncomfortable. As one gear tester explains, Frameless packs work perfectly for minimalist hikers who've mastered the art of packing light. The frame type also affects airflow and the stability. External frames create a space between the pack and your back, improving ventilation in hot climates. Internal frames, by contrast, prioritize stability, making them better for technical terrain. As one engineer put it, internal frame packs are designed to keep hikers stable on uneven terrain, while external prioritizes ventilation and heavy load capacity. The right frame disappears when you hike, moving naturally with you. The wrong one is a consistent struggle. Now that you know the difference, let's talk about how to pack for your next adventure. Packing science. Why 90% of hikers get this backwards. Be honest, do you pack your backpack like a suitcase? Heavy stuff on the bottom? Congratulations, you're doing it exactly wrong. Conventional packing wisdom says to load weight low, but that only works for bookshelves, not backpacks. You'll be carrying for miles. That sleeping bag you've been stuffing at the bottom, it's actively working against your body's mechanics on the trail. Proper weight distribution follows what gear designers call the golden triangle, the zone between your shoulders and hips where your center of gravity naturally sits. Heavy items belong vertically centered right against your back, not piled low where they pull you backward. Picture balancing a broomstick on your hand. The spot where it feels weightless, that's where your main load should sit. Keep that in mind the next time you pack. Here's the common mistake though, treating your pack like a storage closet instead of the extension of your body. Heavy items at the bottom create leverage that fights your posture with every single step. That bear canister or water reservoir that's stashed low, it's forcing your shoulders to work overtime just to keep you upright. A study on backpack ergonomics found that this backwards approach increases strain by up to 30% on steep terrain. Military packing techniques agree that the heaviest gear needs to go near your spine, aligned with your core. Your food bag, water containers, and cook kit should stack vertically behind your shoulder blades. Bulky but light items, like your sleeping bag, fill the bottom space as stabilizers but not weight bearers. Compensation straps lock everything tight to prevent shifting. Descending hills exposes poor packing faster than anything else. Ever feel your pack trying to flip you forward? That's what happens when the weight isn't centered properly. One hiker shared how many hikers agree that a poorly packed load sent them stumbling during a steep descent, nearly toppling into a stream. The fix is redistributing the weight higher and closer to their back, which instantly improves balance and the control. The payoff for perfect packing is more miles with less effort. Your shoulders won't burn after the first hour and your posture stays upright, and that tricky terrain becomes easier to navigate. Focus on balance first, then figure out quick access solutions for essentials. A well-packed backpack isn't just efficient, it's your best trail companion. Next up, we have the torso truth, why size labels lie. Here's the dirty secret: that medium label on backpacks is about as useful as a broken compass. Manufacturers slap vague size categories on packs, but they ignore one measurement that actually matters: your torso length. It's the distance between your neck and hips that determines whether your pack fits or fights you. I learned this the hard way on one trip. I used a pack labeled medium that dug into my shoulder so badly that I had bruises by day 2. And the difference is measuring my torso correctly, and here's how you do it. First, you find your C7 vertebrae, the bony bump at the base of your neck when you tilt your head forward. Locate the iliac crest, the curved top of your hip bones. Measure the distance between those 2 points. That number is your torso length, and it's the key to finding the right pack for you. If your hip belt sits on your ribs or your shoulders carry most of the weight, your pack doesn't fit, no matter what the tag says. The industry has another open secret. Many unisex packs are just men's sizes with a different label on them. Women's torsos are often shorter relative to their height, with narrower shoulders and wider hips. A true women's specific pack accounts for this with shorter back panels, curved hip belts, and shoulder straps shaped for comfort. Without these adjustments, weight transfer suffers and you'll feel every step on the way. Proper fit is everything. A well-fitted pack transfers about 80% of the load to your hips, with your shoulders acting as stabilizers. Shoulder straps should wrap snugly without gapping, and load lifters should form a 45-degree angle to keep weight centered. Adjust the hip belt first, then the shoulder straps, and test the fit with the weight in the pack. A study on backpack ergonomics found that improper adjustment creates pressure points, even in well-designed packs. The fix isn't always a new pack, it's aligning the load with your body's mechanics. So get it right and pack what you feel is an extension of you, not a burden. Here's the truth. A great backpack disappears on your back. You don't notice it because the weight moves with you, not against you. That's the difference between gear that fights you and gear that works with you. Measure your torso, choosing the right frame, and pack smart, and use your hip belt properly. Each tip busts a common myth about the hiking packs, and together they transform your experience. With the right fit, you'll hike farther, feel stronger, and actually enjoy the journey. So find your perfect pack, lighten your load, and hit the trail. The rest of your body will thank you. If you love this video and want to see more, give us a like and subscribe so you can always stay up to date on the very best of hiking, whether it's the gear, the destination, or the advice. That's what we love and want to share with our viewers. So grab your boots, fill that water bottle, and go chase those waterfalls. It's adventure time.